And now American filmmaker and activist Yuval David went out on the streets in Washington, D.C. and asked fellow Americans about Hamas and Islamic Jihad versus democracy. Here's that story.
I'm Yuval David in Washington, D.C. We know that emotions and opinions are heightened when it comes to what is happening in Israel, in the war between Israel, Hamas, and Islamic Jihad. Let's find out what people say on the streets of Washington, D.C. Which one do you think practices a democratic process, Israel or Hamas?
I think Hamas is publicly not as democratic as potentially they would like to themselves to view.
What are your thoughts about Hamas?
Hamas is a designated terrorist organization, so some of their tactics are, pretty egregious in terms of what they did to Israel.
In which region are men allowed to abuse their wives, in Israel or in Palestine?
Which is the more Islamic?
Israel.
Israel does not support women.
Hamas and Palestinian are Islamic. Israel is democratic.
Okay, yeah. Islamic, they don't support women, they treat them like crap.
Which country supports women's rights, Israel or the Palestinian Authority and Hamas?
Just by looking at it on the surface, it would seem that potentially Israel is more supportive of women.
So in Israel, they have full rights for the gay and LGBTQ community, but in Palestine, they cut their heads off and throw them off of buildings.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's very sad.
If I'm biased, I support Israel because I come from a Christian background. I grew with the Bible, so I love Israel a lot.
When attacked, like when you're attacked by somebody who wants to rape and kill you, how are you supposed to respond?
Have you seen that video of when Hamas gave those hostages back and they were saying bye and they were sort of friendly about it and it was sort of nice?
The people who were released as hostages, many of them, actually most of them, still had family members that were held hostage. What do you think they're supposed to do when released while they know that their spouses, their children, their mothers, their fathers are still being held hostage?
Feels like both sides are saying very different stories and very different things, and I don't know who's in the right.
So how did you feel when you saw the hostages being released and waving goodbye?
Well, obviously, I was like, well, then one side is lying, obviously, because, if you're a hostage, then in theory, you don't get out and you're just like, hi, bye, kiss, kiss.
How are you supposed to act when people are holding guns in front of you and holding your relatives as they release you, but not your relative?
That's something that I'm learning with this interview. I didn't consider the fact that, they probably have another metaphorical gun held to their head.
Some of those women were raped for 52 days. What do we do when we know that Israeli women hostages were released after being raped? And
I don't know what to say specifically because I know that nothing that we could say or do will reverse that horrible damage.
Or what is your message to the women who were now recently released, who went through that?
I empathize with you. I am personally someone who has also been through a very similar experience, so I empathize with you guys. I know how painful and I know how horrible it is to live through those experiences, and I sympathize with you guys. I agree with you guys. I understand how important all of this is, and we're here for you guys. It's a situation that affects everybody, and there are so many more people that are here for you than you think are here for you.